everybody, this is Gert and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to discuss training intensity. Training intensity for the over 40 guy. This is one of the main things you need to give attention to. Too much intensity, your body's simply going to pack up. Tendon problems, joint problems, just to name a few. Too little training intensity and you basically not going to get any growth. For the over 40 guy, training must be 4 to 5 days a week. You spend less than 60 minutes in the gym at a time. More than 5 days, it's too much for the over 40 body. You won't be able to repair and grow your muscles. Eventually, training more than 5 times a week will actually result in a standstill. Your muscles won't grow anymore, or it might actually even decrease. So be very careful with that. So that is for guys that, is doing the steroids and the likes. They can train more than 5 days a week. But us natural guys, 5 days, that's the maximum amount of times you should train. Less than 4 days a week, again, this is not advisable. It's not enough training for your body to be sufficiently stimulated for growth. Plus, when you train like 3 or 2 days a week, your muscles become less flexible. Your training frequency is not enough to avoid potential injury, and you will not grow. Okay, now let's get back to training intensity. One of my followers asked me the following question. Gert, on some of your videos you preach that on every set you need to train to absolute muscle failure in your building phase. But on other videos you say that if there's too much muscle soreness you need to tone down your training. So what is it now? And that pretty much sums up the problem that us guys are facing. So let me explain how we deal with this. Now yes, it is true. To stimulate your muscle for optimal growth, you do need to train it on every set to the point of failure when in the building phase. You should rest long enough between sets to be able to at least do 80% of your next set. If they're not failure on every set, then at least failure on every second set. The key is failure. Failure stimulates growth. But obviously training on every set to failure, it can be quite hard on the body. So if you find it too hard, you go to every second set. But you need to get the body to the point of failure. There's nothing else that stimulates muscle growth like training to failure. But of course, training to failure on every set, this is definitely going to cause muscle soreness. Now let's look at the different levels of muscle soreness. I'm going to define 3 levels here. Level 1, light muscle soreness. Just enough so that you know that you trained the previous day, but you don't struggle to get out of bed or do your things during the day. That is actually perfect. That is where you want to be, because now you know you're trained, your body has been stimulated enough, and it is not going to harm or prevent you from doing your training effectively. Level 2, that's what I call medium soreness. That is making movement slightly difficult during the day. Now when you experience this level of soreness where your movement is difficult during the day, then I suggest that you tone down your training at least for the next 2 days. Level 3, intense soreness. This is the kind of soreness you struggle to get out of bed the next day, you struggle to stand, you struggle to walk, you struggle to go and sit down on a toilet, let alone not even hitting the gym. Now when you experience this kind of soreness, this intense kind of soreness, this is problem, guys. I mean, this is when the damage to your muscle fiber, the tears because of your training, it's too much. It's going to take too long for your muscles to recover and repair itself, let alone even growing. So when you hit this kind of muscle soreness, then you definitely need to tone down your training for at least the next 7 days. In this kind of situation, I would also suggest you might think of using an anti-inflammatory. Now remember, the training regime that you should be following when you're over 40, you should train one muscle group once a week to absolute failure. Here the calves and the abs, and to a certain extent the upper legs, is a slightly different muscle fiber type, which means they can be trained more frequently than the rest of the muscles. So this means that theoretically your muscles have always 7 days to grow, repair and heal itself. How do you tone down your training? We're back now to level 3 kind of pain that you're experiencing, muscle soreness. When you hit that level, where you struggle to get out of bed, struggle to walk, struggle to do everything during the day, then you need to tone down your training for 7 days. Now that toning down refers to you must not train to failure. Stop just short of training to failure. So basically you need to drop your weights. Now I suggest that at least for 7 days you drop your weights, not training to failure, and then slowly after that 7 days start increasing your weights again. Don't jump back to your weight that you were before the 7 days. This of course also helps your tendons and your joints to strengthen itself before you hit it too hard. But level 3 pain is never on. What happens if you train to failure with very high intensity but you're not really that sore from your training? Now that happens, guys, and when that happens, this is also not a good sign, because that means that your body is probably not getting stimulated enough. For your muscles to grow, they need to be in a constant changing environment. Your way of attack, your exercises you're doing, the way you do it, how you shuffle the exercises, the speed at what you do it, things like drop sets, supersets. You need constantly to change the environment of your training attack plan to stimulate the muscles for growth. The moment that you don't experience any more pain and you're training crazy hard, that tells you you're going to hit a plateau soon with your muscle growth. That means you're working very hard but you're not getting anywhere at all. You must experience at least level 1 muscle pain, and if you're not experiencing that, then you need to change your routine to force your muscles to be in this environment where you can feel the pain, because that pain equals growth. Now some guys will tell me, yeah, listen, I'm not getting any pain and I'm growing. That is quite possible. I've even been in situations like that. But the best way to train for growth is when your body is always at level 1 muscle soreness. Now, a very important point here is with this intensity, you can't continue hitting your muscles, training to failure, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. You can't do that. You can do it to a maximum period of 3 months. That is your building phase. Then you need to switch to something like what we call a cutting phase. The cutting phase is where you train lighter and not push your body to absolute muscle failure. That gives the body time to heal tendons, joints, to help with basically just recovery. It also strengthens the body so that when you hit the building phase again, you will actually find that you are stronger than when you finish the previous period with your building phase. So you need to switch between a cutting and a building phase, not for longer than a 3-month period at a time, especially when you're over 40. This is also wise for younger guys, but especially when you're over 40, this becomes critical. But how do you alleviate the muscle soreness? Let's quickly look at it. Muscle soreness can be alleviated slightly by stretching in between your sets. It doesn't help you stretch before you start with your training. After you've done very heavy sets, what I do, 2 minutes, I go and stretch that particular muscle group that I just worked out with stretches that last about, let's say, 15 to 20 seconds at a time. And this has been shown to help to alleviate muscle soreness. It also keeps the muscle flexible. And then also after you finish with your training session, do 10 minutes of very light cardio. I'm pretty much against cardio in a muscle building environment, but for muscle soreness, it makes great sense to cool down the body with light walking or light jogging for 10 minutes after you've done your weight training session. The second way that you can alleviate muscle soreness is by using l-glutamine. Now, l-glutamine has been shown to help the body with healing and repairing. They actually even give it to burn victims to help them heal quicker. So 5 grams of l-glutamine just before you train and 5 grams of l-glutamine just after you've trained. And then in some studies, it has also shown that taking decent dosages of vitamin C, now we're talking about 1 gram per day, slow release, that also aids in helping with the muscle soreness. Then of course you've got your anti-inflammatories that you can use. Long-term use of anti-inflammatories, never a good idea. Long-term use of anti-inflammatories can actually interfere with your muscle ability to repair itself. So just be careful, just use it in extreme cases and obviously always under your doctor's supervision. Point number 5, there is 2 peptides out there that you can experiment with that is specifically developed to ease muscle soreness, help the repair of muscles, help the repair of tendons and joints. Those 2 peptides is BPC 157. The other one is pal-ghk. But in the end, you know, we just can't escape muscle soreness, and you don't want to escape it, because that is the way your body tells you you did something, but you need to keep it at level 1. not level 2 or level 3. Now guys and girls, to help me keep my site free and all this information free to everyone out there and helping people, I ask for a small donation. So if you can afford it, please make a small donation to my site. I'm going to put up the donation link for you on the screen, and in advance I say thank you very much. Then of course all this information that I'm preaching in my videos, that is all forms part of my advanced system 2, which is the coaching system that I've developed specifically for the older person. If you want to sign up, just follow the link I'm going to put on the screen. Unfortunately, that is not free, because there I spend significant time to customize each of the systems for your body and your goals. So people, train hard, grow. Gert from Cape Town signing off. Cheers.